All right, let's talk about something that every creator faces, that blank page, right? The pressure to come up with ideas that are actually fresh and valuable. Today, we're going to stop guessing what our audience wants. Instead, we're going to start knowing, and we'll do it using a really powerful two-tool system for finding out what's really going on in your industry. And this quote from Waqas Ahmed Shah, man, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It gets right to the core of the problem. In a world that moves so fast, you just can't afford to be teaching old news. The real challenge is to create content that isn't just more noise, but something that's genuinely helpful and up to date. So, here's our game plan. First, we'll break down this whole outdated content problem. Then, we'll define something called the research gap. Super important concept. After that, I'm going to walk you through two incredible tools, one for finding audience problems and one for finding expert solutions. And finally, we'll tie it all together and see how this makes you a real authority in your space. Let's be real for a second. Making great educational content is tough. So often it feels like you're just saying the same stuff as everyone else, right? To actually teach something valuable, you have to know what's happening in your industry right now, not 6 months ago. Oh, this one hurts because we've all been there. You pour your heart and soul, hours of work into a piece of content, and then you find out a key detail changed like yesterday. And just like that, all that hard work is basically worthless. It's so frustrating, and it really damages your credibility. And this whole problem actually has a name. It's called the research gap. Think of it as this huge divide. On one side, you have the common knowledge that everyone keeps repeating, and on the other, you have what the actual experts are doing today, the cutting-edge stuff. Your goal as a creator, you need to bridge that gap and bring those expert insights to your audience. No, seriously, just take a second here. Think about the last article you read or video you watched in your field. Did it actually teach you something new? Something that made you go, aha? Or was it, mostly things you've heard before? If it's a second one, well, that creator was stuck in the research gap. So how do we cross this gap? How do we find the good stuff? Well, our first tool is a secret weapon, Reddit. We're not just going to scroll through memes, though. We're going to use it strategically, almost like a window right into the minds of our audience to see exactly what they're struggling with. The process here is actually pretty simple, but it's incredibly powerful. First, you just find the subreddits where your people hang out. Simple enough. Second, you start hunting for posts where people are asking questions, asking for help. And third, and this is the most important part, you pay super close attention to the exact words they use. That phrasing is absolute content gold. And this slide, you might want to screenshot this one. It's so practical. You can literally just copy and paste these search queries into Google. Just pop in your niche, add those phrases like how do I or am I the only one, and boom, it filters out all the noise and takes you straight to your audience's biggest pain points. Okay, so you've used Reddit, you've found the problems. Awesome. Now what? Where do you find the best, most up-to-date solutions? For that, we turn to tool number 2, Twitter, or X, whatever we're calling it this week. Think of it less like a social network and more like a real-time intelligence feed from the smartest people in your field. Your job here is to basically become an intelligence analyst for your niche. Create a private Twitter list of the top experts. And don't just follow them passively. You need to actively monitor what they're talking about. When they drop a detailed thread or link to a new article, they are literally handing you advanced, expert-level insights for free. It's like having your own personal research team. So this is the entire system in a nutshell. It's beautifully simple. Reddit is for finding the problems. You're listening to your audience to understand what they need. Then Twitter is for sourcing the solutions. You're listening to experts to understand how to solve those problems with the latest information. Reddit for problems, Twitter for solutions. Simple as that. All right, so now for the big question. Why go through all this trouble? What is the actual payoff here? Well, it's simple. This entire process is the direct path to creating content that is not only relevant, but also builds you up as a real, lasting authority. I know how tempting it is to just rush ahead and start creating. But look, great content isn't built on speed. It's built on a rock-solid foundation. This research process isn't a detour that's slowing you down. It's the absolute most essential first step that makes sure what you build is actually strong and valuable. This is what we're aiming for, right? That 100% mark. When you commit to doing that deep, thorough research, you make sure that what you're sharing is fresh, it's accurate, and most importantly, it's actually worth your audience's time. You're delivering 100% value, not 50. And when you do this consistently, the benefits are just huge. You build this unshakable trust because your audience knows you always bring the best stuff. You become the go-to person in your niche. And hey, if you're a founder, this system is probably your greatest competitive advantage because staying ahead of the curve is how your business stays relevant. You know, at the end of the day, it all comes down to this one simple equation. If you want to build a brand or a business that actually lasts, you can't do it with shallow, recycled content. Your authority is always going to be directly tied to the quality of the information you share. So, that's the system. It's all about being strategic, listening really carefully, and choosing quality over speed every single time. Now, I'm genuinely curious to hear from all of you. What's your go-to platform when you're doing research for new content? Let us know.